Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Kalisha Williams. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
ECJ and CAFFE clash over election day claims. Observer group threatens to withdraw from future monitoring. Education Minister backs teachers on discipline, warns against locking students out. And later in sports, J3s explain inability to send alternate athlete for World Championships.
Now the details. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica and Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections CAFFE continue to be at loggerheads over statements relating to the recent general election. Nakinsky Robinson reports.
The day after the election, CAFFE reported that in 21% of polling stations monitored, persons who were still in line at the close of voting at 5 p.m. were not allowed to cast their ballots. The Electoral Commission rejected that claim and called on CAFFE to withdraw its statement that voters were disenfranchised. But the chair of CAFFE, Grace Baston, is contending that the group's statement on the matter was clear.
We had volunteers in about 400 and some polling stations. Of that number, we were reporting on what 2/3 of them had said. That's about 300. Of that 300, 21% mentioned this irregularity. We were crystal clear that we're just reporting it because it came this way. And with all the other irregularities, we would investigate. That's what we have done all the time. Sometimes observers aren't clear about what they see. And so we need to do that. Now, these are volunteers. It took me 3 or 4 days to pin people down because I'm doing this through parish coordinators because it was several people. And then we're very clear in our statement to say, even in these irregularities, they're so small that they wouldn't materially affect the outcome of the elections. We go on to commend the EOJ for their job.
In a strongly worded statement yesterday, the ECJ said the statement by CAFFE is false and tarnishes the results of the poll as well as the reputation of the organization. It added that no such report was made by any official of the Electoral Office of Jamaica, political party or accredited international observer. Mrs. Baston, who was speaking on Radio Jamaica's Beyond the Headlines on Wednesday, said CAFFE won't observe the elections in the future unless there is a written agreement to prevent issues experienced during the September 3 general election. CAFFE says 4% of the polling stations reported on indicated that volunteers were not allowed to view the preliminary count.
We had instances of our volunteers, first of all, being told they can't come in, they are to stay outside and only come in for 15 minutes, and then at the close of the poll, no, you step outside, you are not sworn, you can't watch. We had it. But because it was 5%, which was down from before, I mean, Dion, we've had this conversation so many times that we're beginning to say, without an MOU, we're not going to do another set of elections with this. Some kind of formal written document.
Nakinsky Robinson, TVJ News.
The People's National Party, PNP, says it will be launching a challenge against the results of the West Central St. Andrew constituency. PNP President Mark Golding made the revelation at a press conference earlier today.
In the case of West Central St. Andrew, however, the nature of the irregularities which took place there is being carefully scrutinized in anticipation of a case being brought to the constituted authority for appropriate relief.
That constituency was won by Prime Minister-designate Dr. Andrew Holness over the PNP's Paul Buchanan. Mr. Golding further noted that the party will not seek magisterial recounts. He told journalists that based on the advice of the party's lawyers, a magisterial recount would not change the outcome of the final count. In the meantime, there's a call for an independent review of the electoral process by the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ.
I think after almost 30 years, of the system that was robust at the beginning, I think there is no concern that gaps are opening up and they need to be examined. And we will be doing so by the processes that you have outlined in the various constituencies and regions as well.
Councillors in at least one St. Catherine constituency say the work is on in its earnest to clear the streets of all political paraphernalia used in the promotion of candidates for the September 3rd general elections. Krista Campbell has the details.
Once a part of political campaign revelry, these green and orange symbols are now relics of the September 3 general elections. The political ombudsman has given political party leaders until September 17 to remove all billboards, symbols, and other paraphernalias in support of their candidates across the island. But in St. Catherine Southeastern, councillors who helped manage the campaign machinery in the constituency for the Jamaica Labour Party JLP and the People's National Party PNP say the removal work is almost complete.
The following day after the elections were over, we had persons removing the political paraphernalia. So the major thoroughfares have been done, and I'm sure that the off-roads have been dealt with at the same time.
Not only just the main road or inlands, where I intend to complete the entire Bridgeport division today, and then now we move continuously. Different councillors will have their own strategies.
While he notes that he is primarily responsible for the Bridgeport division, Councillor Kennard Grant says there's a push for things to return to normal as soon as possible.
We are very grateful to all the communities for lending us their space to actively campaign. And as such, we will now return this space to the community.
But in keeping with the law and in good faith, and more so what the people are requesting. People at this time are not up for this major thoroughfare being decorated in that manner. So the quicker they can be removed, the persons will be more pleased.
And should the removal teams miss any area or spots?
Whilst we are in the removal process, persons can actually reach out to the Office of the Member of Parliament. They are familiar with the numbers as well. And even myself as a councillor for the area. And I'm sure that some of these would have been put up by private individuals as opposed to the campaign team. So again, I would want to appeal to persons who would have had an interest or hand in putting up these political paraphernalia to have them moved as well.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
To other news now, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions is raising alarm over what it describes as an unprecedented and unconstitutional directive from the police commissioner ordering Senior Superintendent Wayne Cameron to vacate his post as chairman of the Police Officers Association and stripping him of recognition by the Police High Command. Details in this report.
The Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, has called for the immediate intervention of the Labour Ministry to uphold both national and international labour standards. It says failing such action, it will be compelled to escalate the issue to the International Labour Organization. JCTU President St. Patrice Ennis says this unprecedented action strikes at the heart of freedom of association, undermines democratic representation, and places the country in direct violation of its obligations under the Constitution of Jamaica and core International Labour Organization conventions. He says by seeking to unseat the duly elected chairman, SSP Wayne Cameron, who was chosen by POA members in November 2022, and whose mandate continues until 2025, the Commissioner has intruded into the internal governance of the association. The JCTU says further denial of access to the High Command restricts the POA's ability to fulfill its representative responsibilities. It states further that the Commissioner's directive, issued after a formal complaint lodged by SSP Cameron with the Police Services Commission, constitutes an act of anti-union discrimination. The JCTU says the Commissioner's directive is also unconstitutional. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is defending educators who she says continue to be the only source of education and discipline for most students. Her position comes in the wake of criticism for their choice of disciplinary action since school reopened. The details in this report.
It has become the education sector's annual issue. Scores of students locked out of school for grooming infractions, again leaving many stakeholders outraged. School leaders, though, insist this is a matter of discipline. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has thrown her support behind school leaders in their quest to keep students in line.
And on the matter of discipline, because we've been talking about that a lot in Jamaica, we have to stand with our schools and our principals on this matter of discipline.
Dr. Dixon, in making the case for school leaders to be firm, explained that many students will not get the guidance they need anywhere else, which oftentimes mean trouble down the road, and that is a risk the country can't afford.
We have our children coming to school from homes where nobody cares to teach them how to be a good citizen. Nobody cares to instill discipline in them. They're not getting it in the home. They're not getting it in the community. Our schools have become something different. Our teachers are becoming the parents. Our teachers are often not just the guidance counselor, but they're taking on the role that the family should have taken on. It is not easy being in our schools or in our classrooms. It's very difficult. Our classrooms have to be seen as places of re-socialization.
That said, she reminded school leaders to follow the rules themselves in how they discipline students. Barring students from school is not an option.
Of course, that does not mean that there are not rules around which we administer discipline. That's very important. Very important, because our children also need to be valued and our children need to be kept safe. But at the heart of it, and as Minister of Education up to today, I'm telling you that my focus is on having disciplined school environments.
The Education Minister was speaking at the Shortwood Teachers College 140th anniversary celebration Wednesday. The institution has recommitted itself to continue producing top quality educators with a more intense focus on mathematics and special education.
This is a growing space with immense potential, and we are determined at Shortwood Teachers College to claim a bigger share of it.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
The Education Minister, in the meantime, is promising increased spending on schools to make teachers more comfortable. Dr. Dixon says the ministry has noted concerns about the impact of heat in classrooms. The situation has left many frustrated and fatigued.
We have also made clear commitments to upgrade staff rooms. And I have seen this. I've been around to a lot of schools, and you go in the staff room and you're so hot in there. Our teachers who are doing so much for us, they need to be in a better environment. And so in our subsequent budgets, we're going to put aside money specifically for the staff rooms, for the comfort of our teachers.
Fresh focus will also be placed on getting more men into classrooms.
One of the things we're going to be working on is a male teacher recruitment initiative. How do we get more men in our schools? And that's in conjunction with our focus on education for boys. Because the reality is, when I look at the numbers, every time the results come out for any exam, the girls are way ahead of our boys. And it doesn't make me happy at all. I want to see our boys thriving. And so we have to do a lot of work, and I hope at Shortwood Teachers College you'll work with us to figure out where are we going wrong in educating our boys. So we have the education of our boys, and we need to recruit more male teachers.
The Santa Cruz police have arrested a man who allegedly stole a herd of goats on Wednesday. Reports are that sometime after 5 p.m., a team from the Area 3 Agricultural Protection Branch, acting on intelligence, intercepted a blue AD wagon heading toward Mandeville. TVJ News understands that the vehicle was stopped and searched when the animals were discovered. The man, who is of a Clarendon address, could not give account for them.
What these Praedial thieves do, they have their inside men, and they come in and they link with the inside men and take the animals out port. Over the last month, we have gotten below 5 reports of larceny of cattle. The latest would have been in Warminster on Monday of 3 cattle slaughtered and the carcass left, parts of the carcass left on the ground. Investigations ongoing in that matter. And one Friday in the Pedro Plains area, 3 rams which were stolen off a main road in Treasure Beach. Investigations ongoing in that.
The police are also calling on citizens to assist them in their efforts to tackle the issue of Praedial larceny. In the meantime, this warning to Praedial thieves.
Asking the citizens out there to assist the police in our investigations. If there's anyone out there who has missed any form of cattle, goats, please attend the Santa Cruz Police Station. The St. Elizabeth Police, along with Agricultural Protection Branch, Area 3, we are working together assiduously to rid this parish of Praedial thieves.
And it's time now for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we come back. Welcome back to the Midday News and thanks for staying with us. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Elite Diagnostics says it will invest some $400 million from a recent bond issue into new diagnostic equipment. The move comes after machine downtime hurt revenues and profits last year. The company has also installed solar equipment at its Old Hope Road headquarters to cut energy costs and hired an in-house service manager to address equipment issues. Elite has so far this year spent $94 million on upgrades across its 3 locations, including MRI and CT scan machines. Further afield, social media giant Facebook has started to pay its $725 million settlement over allegations the platform didn't properly handle user data. Several lawsuits claimed Facebook allowed information to get to third parties without permission. The litigation came following the Cambridge Analytica incident, where the now closed marketing firm was accused of getting Facebook user information in order to target voters during the 2016 presidential election. Anyone who used Facebook at any time between May 2007 and December 2022 was eligible for some of the settlement as long as they filed a claim before August 2023. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for a look at some other top stories from around the world.
In the region, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Vicesar says 200 Venezuelans incarcerated in Trinidad and Tobago are to be deported. She says Coast Guard facilities at Cedros are being upgraded and vessels are being provided to adequately respond to suspected human and drug trafficking. Mrs. Persad-Vicesar has also dismissed a call from Colombia's President Gustavo Petro for Trinidad to assist in the search for the remains of 11 alleged Tren de Aragua members killed in a U.S. Navy strike last week.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.